It is. It's the worst thing ever. Everybody should run outside and throw all their belongings in the street. Stars lose tonight. Second regulation loss in their last 19 games. It happens. We're going to talk about it. We got a lot to get to. Sean is here. Sam is here. Luds is here. And I'm here on the DLS Stars postgame show, which begins right now. They can hear the sound. Okay, welcome to the DLS Stars post-game show. Alongside Craig Ludwig, our producer Ryan Fodders, I'm Owen Newkirk. And before we welcome in the other two contestants on tonight's show, let us also remind you that we have two brand new shirts available. Jason Robertson, Wyatt Johnston. Don't forget there's a T in Robertson, not Robinson. There's the T in Johnston, not Johnson. And you can get your shirts at alldls.com. And, of course, diehards get 20% off. New diehards, you can use it as your free shirt, right? New diehard, sign up. You get a free shirt for the first year of your annual subscription. All right. It's okay. Multiple choice. We'll work on it. Let's welcome on the other two members of tonight's show, Sam Nessler and Sean Shapiro, who smiles for the first time. Hey, we thought he was going to be doing his John Hines impersonation tonight, but that's not the case. Nice to see you both. The Stars lose 3-2 to the Vegas Golden Knights. Second regulation loss in 19 games, which means, let's start with Sean, because he's always Mr. Happy and optimistic. Sean, it means this team's going to get swept in the first round of the playoffs.
100% is over. Let's just bag it up. We're done.
Sam, why are you all caps yelling at people on Twitter already?
I don't know. I'm just kidding around. People are mad, so I just like to mess with them.
They should be mad,
People
Sam.
are mad.
I'm mad. You wanted them to lose 3 out of 5 games right now. You said, I think they should just lose 3 out of 5 right now.
Yeah,
so they're going well at the end of the year. So right according to plan.
I'm in. I also said Wyatt was going to score and be assisted by Miro Heiskanen, so they should call me Sam Stradamus. No, they shouldn't.
No,
that doesn't work.
Not good.
I like how we all laid out for that. That was good. That you guys understood the assignment. Let's talk about Sam's T-shirt, though, because Wyatt Johnston, the positive news of tonight is, well, twofold. One, Casey DeSmith I thought was pretty darn good, but Wyatt Johnston broke the franchise record tonight. He got his 23rd power play goal, breaking the previous mark that he was tied with Dino Ciccarelli. Now he is the only guy at the top of the mountain. 23, positive with, what do we have, 12 games left, that he'll get at least one more, if not more. But he is the highest scoring single season power play goal sniper, sharpshooter in Dallas Stars, Minnesota North Stars franchise history. Not bad, huh?
Yeah, not bad for, what, a 24-year-old? 23?
23, I think, yeah.
Not bad.
3, yeah.
Probably.
Lud, when did you say he was going to get it?
I just said he would break his record. I said he'd break the record by the middle of March. Yeah, that's all I said. Yeah. I don't remember. Sam, to be totally honest with you, when this was all going down, you guys were chatting about this thing. I had no idea how many he had at the time. No idea. He's just on a roll.
Yeah. And he actually
I think 90%
took a few
of them are
games
from that spot.
He tied the record on March 12th against the Edmonton Oilers and scored goals in the next 2 games, but at even strength. So he went 4 games without a power play goal. That's a drought for Wyatt.
Terrible.
But now he has it.
I didn't mention the sharpshooter shirt. That was the key tonight. We only did the robo. And then
you're talking about the pregame, yeah.
Yeah, we handed it off to Sam because he's obviously sleeping in the sharpshooter shirt.
That's right.
Try saying that 5 times fast.
Tongue twister.
I wish I had a sharpshooter shirt. I don't have a sharpshooter shirt.
So obviously we're being tongue in cheek when we say the sky is falling because this team is really, really good. But Colorado did eke out a win today. Was not their best performance, but they found a way to get a win in overtime. And the Stars did not. Couple that with their overtime loss yesterday, which they could have easily won that game against Minnesota, especially with their power play performances. They had great looks. Yeah. But now they are, with Colorado still a game in hand. What are they? 5 points?
5 points. Then their next 5 games, Pittsburgh, Jets, Calgary, Vancouver.
Oh,
I know. It was the last two. I did the same thing too.
Yeah. Oh.
Again, you never know what those kind of things. And so.
Yeah, indeed. Are we, Sean, you're always good at a good Ludstradamus prognostication here. I know that we talked about it earlier this week that the Stars legitimately had a shot to catch the Avalanche, and they still could, but it feels like 1, 2, 3 in the Central are probably where they're going to be, right? Yes, nodding up and down doesn't work on an audio podcast.
I had clicked on the wrong button for the unmute button. That's on me. That's on me. And I was also just doing a quick double check on the standings too, because obviously not going for it game by game. I don't see how the Wild gain 5. We're at the spot for me where I don't see how the Wild gain 5 points on the Stars, and I don't see how the Stars gain 5 points on the Avalanche.
Yeah,
and obviously there's. What is it? 14 points for Utah for someone else to catch, for Utah to catch Minnesota. So I think that's even a lot more less likely. So yeah, it's this. Obviously, there's still another game with Colorado. I think there's still one more Colorado.
Oh yeah, alumni weekend.
That's a
Saturday afternoon.
That's a 4-pointer if you want to call it that. And yeah, I mean, it feels like this all is building more and more towards that opening round boxing match with Minnesota. And it's one of those funny things about this team where I know they lost last night against Minnesota. They lose that overtime game, and you guys obviously did a post-game show for that. People should go watch that. You guys did a great job. But it's the whole, we've kind of reached that spot where all of these regular season games combined with what happened at the end of last season of the regular season, we're kind of in that weird senioritis start of the season when you're looking at stuff where it's just kind of want to get to. I just want to get through the panic of them losing game 1 of the postseason like they're going to. I just want to get through that and all of the super chats about how that they've lost game 1 and now they're going to go get swept in the first round. I'm looking forward to game 2 of the playoffs right now. That's really what I'm looking forward to right
now. Yes, they do have a way of losing the first game of a playoff series on a regular basis. I saw this. We're going to get to it, I guess. So I don't like to spoil super chats, but it is something on my mind. Did you like the introduction of Huru in the lineup and Ilya Lyubushkin in the lineup after playing yesterday in Minnesota? They said maintenance for Ernie, resting Tyler Myers.
I think you miss Adam Ernie's physicality.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's becoming part of the identity. And I do think that Myers and Bishel law firm has been very good together. And I had no problem with Lyubushkin. I just think, again, when you have those two guys with their size and their reach, it just makes it that much more difficult to get, into the good quality areas. So,
yeah. And Lyubushkin wasn't on the ice for a goal for or against. So he wasn't the reason why they, so if you want to look at it that way.
He had a good gap. I was just going to say he had a good gap. Really, I noticed Lyubushkin struggles when he gets chasing a little bit. I liked a lot. He was aggressive. He stood up 2 or 3 times at the blue line and really ended the rush right there. So I'll take it.
Sean, what do you think about Casey DeSmith's performance, particularly coming off now back? This is now back-to-back regulation losses for Casey because of the Utah game where the winning streak / point streak died. It wasn't the winning streak by then. It was just point streak. And then now this. Now this is different than the Utah game in the sense that it was, you know, a little bit more of a tricky challenge for the team because of the travel. Vegas had to do it too. But did you think he played a lot better today than he did against the Mammoth?
I mean, that's like asking if I'm. That's a pretty stark comparison. He was horrible against the Mammoth. Like that was, and then tonight he was probably, particularly in the first period, I thought there was elements of his game where I know Vegas wins this game on the third period goal, but Vegas potentially takes the lead and wins this game earlier, if not for Casey's work in the game tonight. So polar opposites, I think, for him from one game to the next. And I don't know. If you're looking for silver linings and things you want to build on, because I guess that's what we're supposed to do sometimes, is you go and you look at it that way. You know what? After Casey's game against Utah, it sucked. He's got things kind of figured out again and back on track. And so you look at it that way. So yeah, that's those polar opposites there. So
yeah, it feels like that was good, but we'll break this down as we go, you know, goal by goal. The Stars got caved in the second period. They were in good position up by a goal after one, and they got utterly trounced in the middle period as far as scoring chances, time of possession, shots. Casey made a couple of good saves. I thought the point-blank save he made with his left skate on Reilly Smith was a huge one. But he came up, Luds, in the third period with a bunch of, on your new favorite defenseman, Rasmus Andersson.
My God. Like, the guy hasn't been that, I even said it in the pregame show, he hasn't been that good with Vegas, but it seemed like he never came off the ice.
No.
I mean, so, and again, maybe that's him feeling a little bit more comfortable, and I think that's what they were bargaining for when they made the move for him and what they gave up for him to come in and do what he did. So, yeah, he was very noticeable as the game moved along.
He played it was not a game high, team high. He played 21:50, which was the most of any defenseman. What do you make of it when a forward, Mitch Marner, played the most minutes of anybody instead of a defenseman? That seems unusual.
He's getting paid to play a lot of minutes.
He is a lot.
But you know what? He had the puck a lot tonight. I mean, just look at what he did on the last goal. You know, and again, I don't like the way that Harley went towards him, and you have to know you play against him enough. We watch him enough. You know he's a snake from the way he moves.
Yeah.
And you don't go straight at that guy. And Harley goes straight at him, then Robo goes straight at him, and ultimately he gets himself right in the middle of the ice where he wanted to get to anyways, and then Reilly Smith finishes it off. But he's I think that Vegas probably thought they were going to have a seamless transition with him and and Eichel and Stone and all these other kind of guys, and it hasn't worked out that way. And I guess I don't know why they actually thought that he was going to fit in right away with the way Jack Eichel plays, because they both like to have the puck. They both like to pass the puck. And
there's only one puck.
I always say I don't wish, but I don't understand why Eichel doesn't shoot more. I think he's got a bullet for. He really is a pass first guy, but that's what he does.
Marner's also a guy, I think, who has to, when he's had his most success, it's when he's played a ton of minutes. And that's both, I've talked often about how there's certain players, and often we talk about it from the scaling up of maybe a guy who plays lesser minutes or anything like that. Like, one of my great questions about Liam Bichsel is going to be the long-term projection of, can he be a 19 to 20-minute guy with the way he plays? I don't know. I hope so, but I don't know so. And sometimes there's the opposite, where I think Marner is a guy where I saw him a lot in Toronto, obviously, and even when you isolate out some of the noise from all of the kind of how things went in Toronto and obviously the pressures and everything like that, he's a guy who I think he relies on knowing he's going to play 21, 22 minutes a night. There's something where there's some players where it's not that. This is something I'd love for Luds to talk a little bit about, because there's some guys who, when they get that many minutes, it's not that they coast from other ones. It's Mitch Marner knows that whether he does the right thing on this shift or the next, he's still going to be out there every second, every third shift. And I think that's an element of having Mitch Marner. You've signed up for that. And I think there's a challenge. There's both benefits and challenges of having a player like that. And I'd love to hear Lud's thoughts on that, because he's a guy where I don't think you could be like, oh, we're going to play Mitch Marner 17 minutes. I think if you play him 17 minutes, you lose him. Like, I think he's a guy you have to play him 22 minutes to get those 4 to 5 moments. Like he had with like that on the 1-goal setup tonight.
Sean, he has to touch the puck. That's what he wants. He wants the puck on his stick.
Well, isn't that like Rantanen?
But he manages his minutes. He manages his game. He doesn't go 0 to 80 all the time.
No.
You know, and you watch Patrick Kane play. You know, Kane is more, he gets up the ice, and Sean, you see him all the time. We've seen him for years. Like he's an East-West kind of guy. That's what Marner is too. That's my point about, as a defenseman, when you play against them, you have to actually, what you do is you find a spot and you take a certain area of the ice away and you herd him into your help, and you don't go straight at him and give him 2 different options because he's too good at it. So, and it's not like he's lightning fast. He's not Connor McDavid. He's just a little, he snakes his way in and out. And I think the other thing that gets lost in all that is he's been nominated for a Selke I don't know how many times. Like he's really good at his own end of the rink, and he plays in the middle of the ice. He's responsible, you know, in the right areas of the defensive zone. And so there's a reason he gets the money that he gets. And, you know, and he ends up with what is a point per game. I mean, it seems like he's 80, 90 points every single year, it seems like. So, and he's played with good players, right? I mean, when you play with Austin Matthews, I mean, you're going to get points, and Tavares and guys like that. And now
Marner's
he's got
up to 70 and 70.
Yeah, he's a point per game guy, if not more, you know, on a good team that can put the puck in the net.
All right, up next, let's do our breakdown. We'll get through a lot of goals, highlights, fun, and maybe even some enthusiasm. But then again, maybe not here on the DLS.
I can't do that all the time. So you guys got to help with the enthusiasm.
Yeah, well,
I can't be that guy all the time.
Well, wait. Let's see what happens next, Dark Cloud, here on the DLS Stars postgame show.
Oh, no, he's not.
Channel the fresh start energy of 2026. I mean, it's not the new year just now, but we're still in the first quarter, right? So finally launch your business with Shopify. This year, 2026, is the year you can rewrite your story, own your future, and make your entrepreneurial dreams come true. Start your business with Shopify in 2026 and become who you're meant to be. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started. Shopify gives you all the tools to easily build your dream store. You can choose from hundreds of beautiful templates that you can customize to match your brand. Setup is super fast with Shopify's built-in AI tools that write product descriptions and headlines and help you edit product photos. It's super easy. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/allcity. Go to shopify.com/allcity. That's shopify.com/allcity. Hear your first this new year with Shopify by your side. The playoff push is heating up and tournament hoops are here, and it's been a lot of fun to watch so far. There's no better way to cash in on the high-flying hoops action than Prize Picks, where it always feels very good to be right. Every dime, every bucket, every win means more when you're playing on Prize Picks. So don't pass up your next shot with Prize Picks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. It's super simple. All you have to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in, and you can play and pick from all your major favorite sports: basketball, baseball, hockey, UFC, soccer, college basketball, the one we're talking about, tennis, golf, esports, and more. It's super easy. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code DLLS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DLLS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, back here as we get ready. There it is. It's sky is falling, the thunder is clapping, and the rain is pouring down. And we don't even have Sean's fancy iPhone tricks to make it work. All right, let's break this one down. We start where we always do, in the beginning. And in tonight's action, the first goal belonged to Brayden McNabb of the Vegas Golden Knights.
He just sliced his way through two of the
right
best
this way,
defensemen.
sir.
I was just talking about, if you weren't tuned into the pregame show, I was saying that there was a couple pairs of defensemen out there tonight, and Merrill and Esser in the top 4 of not allowing goals.
You sang their praises.
So anyway, here comes the high-flying Well, that's not Paul Coffey, but that's
high scoring.
Yeah. So McNabb just kind of plows his way back. I'm not really sure what I mean, we all saw Miro, and we're kind of wondering, why are you so concerned over here? Which you don't think that McNabb is going to be this kind of guy, but the road opens up right down the middle of the ice. And what you don't see in the picture is Essa. Now, Essa's over here too. So I'm confused on why these two are so far apart. And obviously their thought process is, well, McNabb's not going to try to dance through us. He's going to dish it off to one of these guys. Well, he doesn't. And then ultimately he gets through that hole and then he finishes it off. And it wasn't like this blistering shot, but he got enough of it, and it goes between the arm and the pad of Casey and kind of sneaks in, and all of a sudden we were like, oh, well, that's not the kind of start we were looking for.
No, not at all. And he did it perfectly, where just that little bit to the left and shot back to the right and got Casey just leaning a little bit, and it's 1-0. We have to pause our What the Puck because we got a big old super chat from Jordan.
Bing bong.
Talk hockey with me with a Hryckowian and 99 cup here. Let's go ahead and read that.
What is this?
I got it. Don't worry. Can you please explain?
Can you not make that bigger? I mean,
it's okay.
Seriously.
I got it right here. Can you please explain the timing of the line changes? Seems like they go for a line change every time the puck enters the offensive zone and have to fight for possession again. We got spoiled during that point streak, but I love this team. Go Stars. Now, if you want to just get into a quick detail, any of you go ahead. I actually had one of our DLS viewers send me a Twitter DM that I missed for about 3 weeks because it was from during the Olympic break, asking a sort of hockey 101 about teaching people about line changes. So when we have time, I don't know if it'll be tomorrow, but in one of the shows coming up in the next few weeks, I want to get Coach Luds talking more about training kids on how they do line changes, how they anticipate the timing of it, when you go for it, when you don't, all that stuff. So I don't want to get in too much detail on Jordan's very generous super chat now, but when you're a fan and you notice it seems like they're changing every time the puck's going in, isn't that usually an indication that you've spent too much time in your own zone?
Generally. And all you have to do is look at that ticker down on the bottom of the screen. and if it's around the 40, 50 mark, and then you get it in. Because again, and we do this drill with our guys. There's a skating drill, all different kinds of conditioning drills. We do one drill where you have to go down and back, and you have to do it 6 times. Down and back 6 times. And then you try to get it done within a certain period of time, right around 50 seconds or so. That's a shift. And we're trying to show you this is what it feels like, because you're now it's different for defensemen, because forwards are skating a hell of a lot more than defensemen.
And you're being efficient, trying not to waste energy.
Well, but you don't. I mean, literally, the forwards are coming all the way down generally to almost to where Casey is, not quite that far. Then you're going down to the other end of the rink. You skate around a little bit. But you got to be smart on your changes. Sometimes you don't understand, or people forget that coaches are matching. And so there's times where guys will get out there and they're yelling, and they get out there and a shift, and all of a sudden the opponent changes, and now up comes line number 1, and they want whoever to get out there. So now they're looking for that change. They got to make sure the puck is going in deep. Last thing you want to do is turn pucks over, not at that blue line, and have to chase back to your own end. So there is a method to it, but I don't disagree. But again, I think this team, and even in Pete's teams, nobody besides Rantanen maybe ever got up into the high 20s. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
everybody else is in that range where they're used to being at.
Yep.
So we've seen, there's a couple guys I have in mind at times when they're coming back, puck is going back to your own end. That's when I don't like people to change. Like, you're in the offensive zone, and now it turns over and it goes the other way, and then you have 3 guys going off, and then those 3 guys got to come on, and then them poor guys generally get the minus.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, that's the bad changes that we're always concerned with.
Especially when you're chasing that play.
I don't know if you said this right at the beginning, Luds, but isn't it, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't it pretty good sign when you are changing every time, you feel like you're changing every time you enter the offensive zone, that you're playing too much defense and you're usually getting outplayed? Because if you're getting in the offensive zone, chip it in. Did you say that? I missed the first few seconds of it. That's why I asked. Okay.
Literally how we started it. Yep, that's the old game. I wasn't listening.
Yeah, I was actually reading the chat and answering, so I missed the beginning. I take it back.
And you know what? And Sam, what that ultimately...
We need a solid Brad Shev. Yes, as I just said.
But it comes down to... But sometimes it comes down to that one player that was on the wall that tried to take the puck to the middle of the ice instead of just chip it out of your own zone, and then it turns over. Or in the neutral zone, you don't get it to the red line. It doesn't get in. It turns over because he tried to make this extra little play, and then you have to go back again. And you kind of Anyway,
good word. I like that.
I only had 2 words I was going to use, and I thought, don't use either one of them. So, anyways.
It's okay. I'm waiting for Sam will repeat both of them to us in about 2 minutes. That's fine.
Yeah. Have we talked about Wyatt Johnston scoring a power play goal yet?
We have not. As a matter of fact, that's our next one. But before we do, just want to bring up a couple of quick high danger chances. First, I believe it was Ivan Barbashev after Wyatt hit the post from the ripped one from the right circle off the left post. And then Barbashev goes the other way on a 2-on-1 with Eichel. And that was one of what would turn out to be many.
Well, that's
tough
the one
saves.
that Eichel shot it, wasn't it?
No, that was the one where 2-on-1 and he passed it.
Eichel went down on another 2-on-1, and surprisingly, he took the shot.
Yes, that's later.
I was
stunned.
I want you to get to it.
Okay,
quit dragging.
I don't want to jump all the way there yet because that was the beginning of the second period when he hit the outside of the posts. But we've got a couple of big moments, including Wyatt Johnston's record-breaking goal.
Oh, yeah, that one. That's pretty big.
Would you like to flashback first?
We do have a flashback, though. So we go back to last night because we actually thought that this was going to be over last night. This is Jamie Benn. Very same setup, right? But this time I believe that's Matt Duchene up there giving the puck to Jamie.
Looks
and
like
Jamie tossing it out to Wyatt. Now, Wyatt didn't put it where he wanted to, but Jamie actually gave him the right spot. So anyway, that's the flashback for last night. Ends up going. Gustafsson makes this big save. I can remember saying, and Razor always kind of paints it like bigger than what it is, but that's what they're supposed to do. So anyway, now here we are tonight. Now, again, they were taking Wyatt away, which most teams are taking away, but I liked what Robo did here. Robo comes up, grabs the puck. Ultimately, what they have to do is it pulls that top forward to Robo a little bit, which at the end of it, he's got his eyes on him, but that's going to open up Wyatt in that slot. And because he comes all the way out here, now all of a sudden you're going to see the space that creates that. And then it's just going to be, here's the space. Everybody's looking at a shooter. Defensemen don't get up. And then there's the pass down to, Duchene knows what he's doing with this puck. He makes such a big difference. But anyway, he already spots him early. He knows exactly where Wyatt is. And that's the whole key for everybody. Like, don't look when you get the puck. Look before you get the puck. And so he finds that spot. Wyatt gets all of it. And then boom. And I was just showing this. Here's your goaltender. I mean, when this puck, watch where the puck is. The puck is on halfway out there, and Hill's head is just starting to come back around.
It was so quick.
And then ultimately, Wyatt gets off his stick. I mean, then there's record number.
Sean, I know Aiden Hill's not the quickest reflex goalie because he's so big, but he looks like he's doing exactly the technique he's supposed to be doing there. Or do you disagree? What do you think?
For the way Hill played that, I don't have any issue with the way Aiden Hill played that.
It seems like he's there. He's not going to be that quick and make that reaction save, is he?
Yeah, no, that was a credit to Dallas for that one. And then obviously, as I'm sure the people want me to say right now at anyone is, I mean, that goal is, for all the positives that build off that, there's also another 4-minute segments that later in this game that did not go nearly as well. That
trust me, I will tee you up for that one.
Yes, that was may have been a zapping in the other way when we talk about energy. So
and Sean, you know what bothers the coaching staff on this stuff is now you're getting down to where there's 15 games to go. You're playing against the guy that's the number one power play guy in the league, and everybody's saying any other option but this guy.
Don't let this guy
take him away. And I know they're going to try to take Robo away too, because again, it's the bonus of having some skilled guys out there. But the one place I don't care who it is, it could be Sam out there in the slot, which you don't want him shooting. No, I'm
going to bury it.
You really don't want anybody shooting from that spot anyway. So
if Sam's there, he's just going to put it over there.
But that's what happens when you lose focus a little bit and you don't take away, number one. You're always trying to take away plan A and make them go to plan B.
Well, the good news, Luds, is that the Moose is on the horizon. Yes. And we're going to get into that more on our show tomorrow because Jim Nill was on the radio on the ticket, the Stars radio broadcast pregame, and Sam was able to catch some of it and tweet about it, giving some updates on Rantanen, Hintz, and Foxes. So we'll talk that
Is that
more.
our 3 o'clock show tomorrow?
That's our 3 o'clock show. Yeah, look at this guy.
Got that in there.
3 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. We will get a little bit more into that. But Luds, before we get to the ad break, DeSmith point-blank save on Mark Stone after Eichel missed the net on a shot from the slot on the rush. Then we had Matt Duchene hitting the right post. And then your boy Ritzy Ritz, or should I say eventually going to be Ritzy Rich?
It's going to be Richie Rich at some point. There's two of them now. A couple little things here. I really like what this. Here's your little 50-50 puck battles. And Ritzy wins this one to start with. What ultimately gets the puck there, gets it back. And then I like what Blackwell does. So there's the 50-50 battle. But when Blackie gets the puck here, he doesn't try to do anything. He sees a little lane. He's not putting it in anybody's tape. He's going to make sure it gets in here because he knows Ritzy went to the front of the net. Let's just get it up there, see what happens. And then this one here, I like that Ritzy didn't. A lot of guys would skate through that. He slows down. He stops, stays in front of the net, hits him in the skate, hits him in the pad, actually. He drops down to his skate. Then he kicks it up from his skate to his stick. Then he just takes his time and then just tucks it in. So from two guys there, come some nice patient plays, the easy play, and then ultimately the good little finish by Ritzy.
And if everybody gets healthy, those guys could potentially be part of your fourth line, but they're clearly third line or higher, or maybe not, but like depth pieces making important plays. That was really important. Stars had the lead at that point, 2-1, after one period of play, and it was close. It became a little less close. We'll talk about it next here on DLLS.
Let's see. We should pull up the Wyatt Johnston
shirt.
Or do we just have Sam stand up? Maybe, Sam, you can just stand up. But we do have to. Well, yeah, there it is. That's the 16-bit one. We need the new one. There's the sharpshooter shirt. So everybody get out. It's going to be a hot commodity now. That
it already is.
Oh, is it?
Get him today.
Okay, get him today. And then we're not going to. Robo didn't do anything tonight, so forget about his shirt. So
you should probably show the shirt.
The shirt?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you already talked about. Let's show the Robo.
38 goals.
By the way, it's Robertson.
Thank you.
I just want to make sure that Owen gets that out there. The Robo shirt, the cop shirt. And took a lot of thinking to come up with a robotic guy for the Robo shirt. So that took plenty of time. But they're the two big ones are right now. Go ahead, Sam.
So,
Owen,
you should also mention the hats before.
The hats? Well, Sam's not wearing the hat tonight.
No, but
there's a caddy hat on the left. That's Sam's favorite hat.
Here's the question: ask Sean if we were to get him a hat. Which one
would you pick, Sean? Not that you're going to get one, but
probably the one on the far right, the white one.
That's the best seller.
I agree.
That's the one. That's our best seller.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's our best seller, but
it should be. All right, Sam, it's all yours.
Thanks. I was talking, but it turns out I was muted that whole time. So love it. Let's talk about the Supporters Club. Because
we're just never sure if you're actually going to be there, Sam. Like you may just have to run to CVS or something.
That's fair. True sickle level stuff. Supporters Club is where it's at. You get exclusive emojis, exclusive badges, and behind the scenes videos, which I've been told by our amazing producer, RV Ryan Waters, that we have a new video up of Craig Ludwig talking about winning his first Stanley Cup in Montreal. So if I was you, I'd go right now, join the Supporters Club, get Lud's 7 minutes of cursing during ad reads, and follow it up with the Montreal Stanley Cup video back to back. That's where it's at.
Yeah, that's the PG version, by the way.
I would like to get us back on track by letting you talk about Jack Eichel actually shooting on a 2-on-1 and hitting the outside of the left post.
Well, I don't have to say anything more. That was it.
You were stunned.
Yeah, I was stunned. He normally is a passer. On a 2-on-1 especially, and he didn't even look. He didn't look over.
He was thinking the whole way I'm shooting this one. That's good. He should be shooting once in a while. The second period, and we'll get to the goal in a moment, but I had chances at 10-3 Vegas, and they had 3 of the 4 high danger chances. Maverick Bourque drove the net on his backhand. He had a good look on Adin Hill. That was Dallas's 1 in the second period. Other than that, it was nearly one-way traffic. Now, here's the thing. The Vegas Golden Knights have lost 3 in a row going into this game. They got it, as you said, it wasn't a good look against Nashville as they got outplayed. They gave up a goal early. They lost the special teams battle. Even though they outshot Nashville 40-20, they lost 4-1, and they're in danger of dropping out even further from Anaheim in the Pacific Division. They're losing 2-1 to the Dallas Stars on the second night of a back-to-back with travel for both teams. They raised their game in that second period.
Yeah, and when you look at them in the D zone and their own D zone, they got to their structure and then they didn't move a lot. They basically said, go ahead and try to get it through us. So it was like less is more for them, where normally they get a little a little more aggressive. And I just felt like they just kind of stayed within their structure, and then they get Dallas to move it around, then they block some shots and things like that. So I think they were a little bit more in control, and they played more of a patient game.
Now, Ryan, I need you to play 2 quick drops. One of my Owen's stupid air horn, and then one of Sean, the dude is cooked. If you could do that for me, please. And I'll tell you guys why he's doing it.
The dude is cooked right now.
It's a great sequence. Our producer, Ryan Vodders, has just banned his first chat person.
Oh, really?
He hasn't all the way to this point, which is a huge chunk of our
Can we
season.
show what he said or something?
I didn't even see it. I just saw that he said, bye-bye, Rhett. My first ban on Stars Chat. So applaud to Ryan. He brought out the sheriff's hat.
We need a little more info, don't we, on this?
He used a word that I don't like, so he's gone. Yeah.
Is it a universally disliked word?
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
Do I say it quite often on this show?
I have never heard you say it.
Okay.
So how about that? We have our first banning. Ryan stepped up and showed he may look nice and is nice, but he can hold his own. So bravo to that. All right, lads, let's get to the Barbashev goal. I just want to point out that Reilly Smith did a point-blank drive to the crease, and Casey DeSmith got a left skate save to keep it a 2-1 Stars lead.
Smith shot it right back into his foot, right, Sean? He shot it right back into his foot.
Yeah.
But give the goalie credit. He laid out enough to have it go back and hit his skate. But then let's talk about how this power play goal for Barbashev went in and how it wasn't defended the way you liked it.
Yeah, not crazy about it. Well, here we go. Gonna hit the button. There it is. So first thing, I should just get one of them little automatic remote control buttons.
It would be great. Yeah.
First thing is you have a left-handed shooter here. So Leon Bichsel, generally I would want this forward to be down a little bit lower because you can even come down and you can still be in a lane from that point guy. And that's what you're worried about, the point. But if you come down lower to help in the slot and it goes out to that point for some reason, all you do is you turn in your lane and then they move it to some other point. But that's just about buying time here. But because he's a lefty here, I would prefer that Bichsel can lay down here. He can lay down, but be on the strong side, be on that post.
Now, when you say lay down, you literally mean lay stomach down?
Lay down.
Not just go to your knee.
Down. Because as a lefty, he's got to get out and make that. This isn't Marner, okay? This is Howden, I think. So
it is.
You have to know who you're playing against, too. But Bish can lay down here, and if he lays down, he sees that there's no place to go with the puck, and those 3 guys that I had arrows, now they have time to come back. Now when you turn your body like this, and the other thing is he has to look. He has to find the stick of whoever's over there, who just happens to be Barbashev. And then your lane is now near and closer to where the pass is ultimately going to go. And when you don't look, you have no idea where this pass is going. You have a general vicinity, but again, if you're over there with his stick length, this puck should never get across, in my opinion. And Barbashev makes a great shot. I mean, it's a great pass.
It's a great pass.
He elevates it exactly. Casey's got no chance on this one. But again, for me, it goes back to if Bichsel lays down, who's that? R2D2 out there?
I believe.
Yeah. So he would have time to get down and take that lane away, and the other 2 guys would have time to collapse too. So anyway, he doesn't get a ton of time to get out there and kill, and I'm sure Elaine and those guys will go through this. But I do know that when I'm watching these guys kill, their offside forward generally is all, and I complain about that sometimes too, but they get married to that offside forward, and they kind of take him away and leave the slot open. So I don't know if they tweaked a couple things here, so they look a little different tonight.
The Barbashev goal came at 9:10 of the second period. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask Sean, I personally would find it fascinating to hear your side of how a goalie should handle this. Because like you see a pass go through the crease, a lot of people think, why isn't Casey poking that? But because he's seeing the shot, I just love to hear you talk about like, why is that not on Casey basically to intercept that pass? Or is it?
Oh, that, I mean on the.
Oh, I don't. That's from Sean. I don't.
That's what I was asking. Not, but I'm not asking you, Luds. Get out of town.
That's the play where.
All right, Sam.
Some goalies.
You were wrong on the score, by the way.
I was.
Yeah. That's a play where some goalies are going to be more aggressive with the stick to try to take it away with either a poke check or a stick sweep or whatever terminology you want to use. But it's also one of those moments too where if that's a play where you're expecting your D to make the right play, right? Like I don't really want him to compromise as a goalie. You don't really want to compromise your stance, compromise your other parts of your positioning to go for that, because that's got to be an all or nothing play. Because if he goes for that and misses, then we're having a discussion about his fault on that play. And so I get where you're coming from, Sam, because it's something where you could probably gamble potentially on it, but I'm not going to repeat what Lud said. You guys can all just hit rewind and to go back to what Lud said, but what Lud said still stands here as that's where the blame area, whatever you want to call it. So
there's to me, honestly, Casey has to honor the shot. So,
well, and the other thing is, like, again, I mentioned he's a lefty.
That's right.
Now, if that's a righty there, say that's Eichel there, then Casey or Sean, I'm assuming Casey's in his, I don't know, reverse V8 or VH or whatever the hell it's called. He's taking the post because a guy like Eichel and, you know, all these good dudes, they can go that short side high there. So he can't leave the net. He can't leave the post, can't drop his shoulder. But because he's on his backhand, you can do way more to take that play away than how this was played.
I jumped past a screenshot you wanted to show earlier after the Hryckowian goal, before the Barbashev goal. So let's go to that now. Our last little breakdown, then we'll talk about the game-winning goal.
Well,
this started out of almost nothing, and it turned into everybody.
Okay, but this is a little bit earlier when the game was not quite getting away from Dallas. I'm like, we're seeing this on more regularity. So this is the team that Dallas is becoming. I mean, I did it. I asked Ryan to put it on there because I'm happy about it. Like they're in the face, and it's, you know, and it's different guys. It's not always the same guys. So it's a team thing. They've added this element, and Gully, that's one of the things he started out talking about, as everybody knows. So I like that it's not just a once in every 7 or 8 games. You know, now if you're playing against the Dallas Stars, it's, you know, what's the Three Musketeers? What do they say? All for the mountains, or muskies, or 1 for 1 and 2 for all, and
all for one, one for all, all for one.
That thing right there.
Yeah,
that's what you're getting when you come.
Boy, I wasn't
knocking.
sure where he was going.
I didn't know where I was going either.
Hey,
all right.
Lud, did you think they'd get here? I'm genuinely curious. Or you want to go to a break?
No, not yet. I have to tee up Sean before we get to this break.
Go.
So
I'm going to ask you later, Luds.
Yes, save that question. Sean, I told you I'd set you up on a platter because the goal from Barbashev came at 9:10. 2 minutes and 31 seconds later, Jack Eichel's called for a 4-minute double minor for high sticking. They would review the penalty and confirm it as he got Maverick Bourque in the face. I still don't know what he was upset about that call, because it looked pretty blatant.
When in full speed, I thought Maverick's stick hit his stick into his own face.
Right.
That's what I thought. And I didn't.
But then you saw the replay.
I didn't see it.
Okay. Well, it was pretty obvious. The Stars managed 0 shots on goal for that 4-minute power play. Go ahead, Sean.
Well, I mean,
is this
where do you want me to go with this? This is.
You have to ask.
I don't understand. I mean, I know where people want me to go with this, but I'm going to be not as energetic as people would like. But you score on the power play goal earlier in the game, and it's Wyatt Johnston's record-breaking goal, and that's exciting and everything like that. And we talked all about hey, this is where things are gonna target guys and everything like that. And I just don't understand sometimes with the Stars team, where sometimes when things are going well, and it doesn't happen a ton of times, but it tends to happen sometimes on power plays and sometimes late in third periods. And these are the 2 things I would circle if I was the most concerned as a Stars coach. There's times where it just seems we're just going to sit back, and they're going to sit back and be very just dead about everything, and just sit back and not have any aggression about anything. And how many times, Luds, have you said, you know what? Just give some energy guys more of an opportunity on the power play. And it's funny because there actually are a couple more energy guys on the power play right now with Rope Hintz and Mikko Rantanen it out. There's a couple guys that probably won't get that opportunity come playoff time. And after the way you will call the game in Minnesota last night ending with a lack of urgency, that's what I will call the defending at the end of that game last night. And there were some guys who lacked urgency who were on that ice for that 3-on-3 debacle. and then are on the same ice for the 4-on-4 power play. And this is one of those moments where this team and so many NHL teams talk about, well, you win with your leaders and you win with your top guys. And this is where you've got to step up, and this is where the Jason Robertsons of the world, this is where the Matt Duchene's of the world, this is where the Miro Heiskinen of the world, and we talked about Miro and the mess up on the first goal there. This was just an opportunity to kind of, to make a statement on things, and it just didn't happen. So highly frustrating. I'm not having a ton of energy right now for various reasons, but highly frustrated, highly way to look at it, because I'm just as frustrated. And I intentionally don't have the comments open right now, and because of, I can only imagine what they are right now. And based off what Ryan has said already, he's banning people. So I haven't looked, but I can only imagine the chat right now is either agreeing with me or calling me an idiot. And I'm fine with both of those things.
Sean, I think what you could say is two things for me. I just want him to be a little bit more deliberate, with the pucks. Get it, make a point of getting him there. The thing is like, what's happened, I think, is now these groups have come out and they've scored goals here and there. Not a lot of them
in the league, and
now all of a sudden you actually think you're a good power play guy.
Yeah, they do.
Well, I'm sorry, but when the good guys get back, you're going to know what good power play guys are. You guys got goals because you were more straightforward. You were deliberate. You were getting pucks to the net. You're going in there getting dirty goals, and you had bodies there and the whole thing. Now, when you want to start passing it around like Ranton does, and Robo and Wyatt, and then it kind of, and what it does is like this, just like a penalty kill can lift a team up, a power play that just leaves nothing out there for 4 minutes kind of sinks your whole team, and just for a moment. So I just think, and there's something about getting pucks there and getting dirty chances and going in, and next guy goes in, and then you get that ugly goal that sometimes feels as good and sometimes even better than the 10 bell, the best, playmaker, right, and going to make the NHL channel highlight reel kind of goals.
And by the way, I also want to point out that while they gave up a goal on the Nils Lundqvist slashing penalty, the Barbashev power play goal, the Stars then took a 2-man man on the ice penalty almost immediately after the 4-minute penalty expired. To Ludz's point, you can bring the team down. It happened. But then Vegas did absolutely nothing with that 2-minute power play. So we go to the third period. We'll pick up on the other side here on the DLS Stars postgame show.
If you love the NFL Draft, then this is your edge. The Die Hard NFL Draft Guide is built and based off of thousands of hours of film study, being boots on the ground, Shrine Bowl, Senior Bowl, Combine, talking to scouts, talking to coaches, really getting a feel for where these players are best going to fit and project in the NFL. We're talking hundreds of players in this class.
Cowboy fans, you got to have access to Fran Duffy's Die Hard Draft Guide, because he knows exactly what the Cowboys are looking for and has in-depth scouting reports on everybody that can help this team. So help yourself and be informed about the NFL Draft. Make sure you got Fran's Draft Guide.
All right, so what are you going to find in the guide? Well, you're going to find player comps. You're going to find strengths, weaknesses, physical tools, analytics, highlights, analysis from all across the space, everything you need to try and determine who are the best players for your team. You get access to the guide if you're a diehard, and you'll also get access to a couple of individual breakdowns I'm doing specifically for your team. All right, look, if you want surface level breakdowns, you can get them anywhere. But if you want independent thought, if you want thorough breakdowns on all of these prospects, become a diehard, get the guide. Or you can get access to the 2026 guide for just $26. Let's win draft season.
And if that is interesting to you in the slightest, you can get Fran Duffy's draft guide from All City, all by just signing up to be a DLS diehard. And of course, there's so many things that are great about being a diehard, whether it is getting a free t-shirt when you sign up for your first year. You can get one of the new Robo or Wyatt shirts because of it, or maybe Sam's little 16-bit shirt that he's wearing tonight, or maybe Ludz's DLS flag shirt. I think the main logo is a very, very good-looking shirt. Now, on the other side, as Sean is telling you where that QR code is, you could simply join into things that are fun, the community-based side of being a diehard, because our diehard-only Discord, our Stars channel inside that seems to be by far the most active, and we even have a diehard-only March Madness bracket going on with some fun prizes as well. So check that out. Go to alldls.com and become a diehard today. All right, Sam, I told you to wait on that question before we get into the game-winning goal and Casey DeSmith's good third period. Go ahead.
These two clowns. This is like the Brady Bunch.
It is.
Like,
it tickles you, doesn't it?
Not that Sam even knows what the Brady. Yeah, like that's
Sean, well done.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
Sean.
Sean to look up at me that whole time.
Sam, you got to look down.
Yeah,
he was looking down.
I wasn't looking at me.
What are you waving at, Sam? Are you petting something, or is what are you doing?
I was looking at my keyboard.
Well, it's kind of weird.
Well,
anyway, go ahead, Sam.
Ryan, feel free to use that for whatever you want.
Sam,
later.
what were you going to ask me, by the way?
Oh, I was going to ask you that 1 degree, that physicality you talked about. You said that's what happens when you come play Dallas now. I'm curious, did you actually think they could get there as fast as they did? Like, obviously, Goldson said it all summer. You didn't think they'd get here by game, 70?
No, I didn't. But again, we both kind of feel who the spark plug is in that whole thing, right? And yeah, Ritzy Ritz is kind of initiated that, and it seems like he's pulling people into the fight. And so I just think it's an element to any kind of a championship. And I'm looking at Florida. I mean, they won a couple Stanley Cup, but if you're gonna go in there with one of them, and generally it's Marchand that'll start it all, and then everybody else is right there. So I just kind of like it because it reminds me of the old days. But I look at some of the good teams in the league, and we saw what Tampa did. To me, the whole thing started with Tampa Bay when they started the big clown act in the beginning with Florida, and they had 180 some minutes, and then they carried it into a game. And so, and so now everybody knows, well, if you're going to play Tampa Bay Lightning, you better be able to respond because this is what the game's going to be like. Now Dallas is part of that.
So
you just said it real quick. I won't take up the whole show, but I'm just curious if you just said Tampa. Jim Nils brought up Tampa like 3 times in different interviews, said it again on the ticket right before the game today. Do you think that comes from Nil and then Golitzin agrees, or like how does that become the message that this team takes into the season?
I think I think it came from Gully because Jim, I mean, it seemed to me that Sean, you'll definitely remember wasn't Jim, one of the first guys when I heard the comment that he wanted the tough guy, or our tough guy is going to be our power play. I thought, do you remember those comments? And I think it came from Jim at one point. He believed that our tough guy is going to be. I'm not saying it was
I'm not sure if
it could have been Detroit too. I don't know.
Pete. It could have been Jim saying, I mean, he could just be being a good manager, supporting his coach with consistent messaging. You're not sure. It could be either way. It could be Jim setting that tone, or it could be Pete DeBoer, or now Gully.
Well, one thing I know for sure is Gully's the one that brought it up this summer.
Yes,
and now it's coming to fruition.
I will say this right out, and it'll be interesting to track as this goes along. But Glenn and Jim are on the same page on this because it's part of the reasons that one of the reasons that Pete is gone was a disconnect on various reasons, and one was between the coach and the GM is one of the minor parts of it beyond the Pete's player connection. And Glenn comes in. One of the reasons Jim hired Glenn was he sold him on a bit of the vision. So when you talk about Jim, when you talk about the GM and coach year one with where they are and they've been winning, there's not a lot of opportunities for strife right now, right? Like I know they lost and there's some upsetness right now about that, but those two tend to be on the same page, and they both know that Jim took a risk when he hired Glenn Golitzin. Like, I think I've said this multiple times, right? Like, you go back and hire the person that you fired as one of your first actions as the GM. That's a pretty bold move to go to. And so,
hey, Sean, you know what would be fun? And we shouldn't do it today, but on another show maybe when you're on would be to examine what would happen hypothetically if they had been able to talk David Carl into being the Dallas Stars head coach, and would it have had this much instant success compared to what has transpired under Gully? I don't know if we need to get into that now.
Oh my God, that's like doing them redrafting. Let's go back.
We'll do it next week.
What if we do? Well, I might be a day off.
That's what I'm saying.
That'll be the day off.
Les has a couple of PTO days coming up, so
yeah,
we can do that where he would otherwise just be looking at the ceiling or checking out or whatever. But I didn't mean to jump all over that, but I just think that'll be an interesting conversation at some point. Okay.
No, that is. You said another time, so I let it filter off because you said another time.
No, I appreciate that. Just listen to Casey DeSmith before the game-winning goal was scored by Reilly Smith in the third period. He made that huge glove save on Rasmus Andersson on the power play, because remember, most of the power play that the Golden Knights had from the Jamie Benn high sticking, which, by the way, was not a good penalty for your captain to take. It was a reach. It was one-handed. It was from behind the play.
That sounds like that's happened in the past too. About Jamie taking a penalty
Sometimes
against Vegas.
Well, yeah. I wasn't sure where you're going. Now I do. But that one, I just look. Jamie's an unbelievably good and accomplished player. That was one I didn't think he needed to take. But anyway, DeSmith makes that unbelievable glove save. Maybe he shot it into the glove, but give Casey credit for putting it there. Then he made a split pad save also on Rasmus Andersson, who decided not to play at the blue line. And then he stopped Colton Sissons on a little rush as he gets behind the defense. Then he stopped Brett Howden, who swept into the slot and fired one. And then he saved Mitch Marner on a one-timer from the inside of the slot. They had a lot of good looks before Reilly Smith scored off that block shot.
Yeah, he was giving his team a chance to win the hockey game, right? Yeah, and I said it earlier. I don't like the way, again, Mitch Marner, he zigzags. And so you have to take a certain way to go at him. So you're not giving him an option to go both ways. Thomas Harley does it. Then Robo does it. Then he gets his way to the middle of the ice. And then ultimately it is Reilly Smith that ends the game.
Yep. And pounced on
Doesn't
it.
end the game,
but honestly, Luds, when you look at the way that they played the second and third periods, they were the better team. Deserve to win. I know some people don't like that because it doesn't matter whether you deserve to win, it's whether you won. But I feel like the Golden Knights deserve to win this game.
We can't turn sound around from post-game this quick, right?
Probably not.
No, I didn't know how that worked.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
Well, I would like to hear Gully.
Yeah.
Because I think there's going to be a different temperament coming.
Would you like to hear some Gully from that tomorrow? We could listen to it, and then if you want, you let me know. We'll do that. Okay. Let's do some super chats, and then we will wrap this one up as the Stars have lost 3-2 to the Golden Knights. Second regulation loss in their last, week and a half now? No, week. Monday and then Sunday. So second in a week. I know it's been a while since they've even done that. It's horrible. Just as far as you're listening to us live, the Sabres and Ducks are in a 5-5 tie with a minute and a half to go in the third period. And the Utah Mammoth have a 3-2 lead over the Kings with 10 seconds left in the second period. If that result holds, the Stars will clinch a playoff spot, but not because of what they did on the ice tonight.
Isn't there an anomaly, statistical thing, whatever we want to use the word for here, of their last 3 regulation losses now? Like they've had, 3 regulation losses in how many games now? 20-something?
Well, it would have to go back 20.
Yep. Yeah. So all 3 of those have been with Casey DeSmith and net.
The first one was a 1-0 loss in Columbus, and Casey was outstanding. They didn't score any goals.
Correct.
The second one was against Utah, and I didn't think Casey had a very good performance compared to what normally. And today he was outstanding. So
this is not pinning it on Casey. There's just
that's weird, right? Because Jake's got a 14-game point streak going, which is a new franchise record.
Yes. So it's just a funny thing to look at it that way.
All right, super chats. Let's hit them up. Start with Blue Titan 10 with a Casey DeSmith, a 99 Cup here. 16 shots in 60 minutes with a 4-minute power play. Frustrating. Agreed. Blue Titan has another DeSmith 99 Cup here. I think it's time to change both of the power play units.
They're about to change in a week or so. You're going to get a couple.
I think put Mikko Rantanen and Rope Hintz on the first unit. That'll help.
Yeah. I mean, they still score a power play goal tonight, but I get it.
Bold. That's bold, Samstradamus. That's bold.
Okay, so next one, we have a super chat from our colleague over at DNVR Avalanche, Nathan Rudolph, a.k.a. Rudo, with a Lundqvist and Year After the Cup. Mom said it's y'all's turn to deal with the doom. Love from DNVR Avs. Thank you, Rudo. That's very kind of you. We're dealing with the doom. What he's talking about is people that are losing their minds. And Jacob, you know who you are. You're allowed to be upset with a result, but again,
great call out.
43, 16, and 11, 97 points with 12 games left. It's okay. We're all right. Okay, next one. Blue Titan with a hat trick. I don't want to reach out and throw one of the hats. Pretend hat trick. But, 3 Casey DeSmith and 99 Cup years isn't exactly, he threw his Kleenex box. Great game to sit 57 and bring in a cold 46. I was asking a little bit about Lyubushkin earlier, but obviously Tyler Myers is nice to have on the ice.
Yeah, and there's a bigger picture here.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if Tyler Myers is, 36 years old, somewhere in that neighborhood, if he can get a game or two off here before you need him to be completely healthy in the playoffs, that's what we're looking for.
We got a nice, good one from Harry, our boy Harry, with a Ludwig and a year after the cup. This one's clearly a tongue-in-cheek, Sam. Hold up your sarcasm sign. Mikko/Rope have been invisible. I'm burning my Finnish Mafia hoodie. I hear Mikko Rantanen is heating up right now.
He's heating up. He's been heating up lately.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Speaking of that, is he going through I know he's going on the trip or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is full practices and everything then?
Sounds like he's about to. We're going to get into that tomorrow.
Oh, I didn't want to
spoil
it.
No, you're not spoiling it. No, we'll talk about it more
have to cancel the show now. The cat's out of the bag.
I guess we have to have a day off tomorrow, Lex.
Okay.
I know you're really upset about that. Turk with a Lundqvist and year after the cup. Just like game 1 against the Avs last year, the Stars only took 13 shots on net, 5-on-5 tonight. Outshot 26-13, 5-on-5, by the way. Yeah, they got outplayed tonight. Very true. All right. We have... Thank you very much, everybody, for your super chats. But we have a way to close the show today. There's nothing that we wanted to do, but it's something that we felt very important and obligated to do. Not obligated. We wanted to do this. The hockey world is a very tight-knit community, and one so that even if you don't see people very often or never meet them in person, they still make an impact with you. And one of the great things about hockey, and anybody that's traveled will know that you might see somebody that works for another team once a year, and you pick up and you say hello when you see them, and then you don't see them again for 364 days, and then you do it again. And it's like you talked to them a week ago, and it's really fun. And it's just, people know each other, and you may not know this person, but 3 people that you know knew them well, that kind of thing. The hockey world lost somebody, and I wish it was just that. And that sounds weird, but it's way more tragic and horrifying than that. NHL.com writer Jessie Pierce, who covered the Minnesota Wild, also worked for the Wild in capacity, was a co-host of the Bar Down Beauties podcast, and so many more things. Tragically passed away Saturday morning just before 5:30 a.m. due to a house fire in her home in White Bear Lake, Minnesota. But not just Jessie, her 3 young children, Hudson, Caden, and Avery, also perished in the flames. This is from Friday night, so about 12 hours before the fire. They just went to their favorite ice cream place, which opened for the spring. They were having, a normal Minnesota childhood, as you would expect, loving hockey. I mean, I'm an ice cream freak, so you guys know this looks like perfection to me. And they also lost a family dog in the blaze as well. They are survived by her husband, Mike, their father, which is awful. There's Kirsten, her podcast co-host. And I would just say that as we mourn this, because it is horrible, the outpouring of support and love for Jessie Pierce and her family today on Twitter was really nice to see. We wish that in life these tragedies didn't happen. I would love to hear Sam or Sean, if you have anything you'd like to say. Go ahead, Sam. We'll let you go first.
Yeah, the only thing I will say is you mentioned it's just awful. It reminds me of doing our show right after the Goudreau thing. That's the same type of heartache that it kind of inflicted. But if you ever, wonder what kind of person someone was, just go look at all the outpouring of love for Jessie. I mean, not only just all the things you said, loved hockey, was around the rink, but everything you read from anyone that was around. Michael Russo, obviously a big one around her a lot, works for The Athletic for Minnesota, just describes her as a beam of light, just someone that you always love to sit next to at the rink and chat with and talk to. I saw some pictures. She brought her kid, one of her young kids to the rink one day. And I think it was Mikael Granlund.
Looked like Mikael Granlund, yeah.
Yeah, and was like best friends with the kid and holding him and playing with him. And it's just that type of stuff just really tugs at you. And I just, all the condolences and love to the family. And I cannot imagine what Mike is going through dealing with this. But just go look at online and read any article you can about her, and you'll see what type of person she was and her family was. So absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah. I'm not doing well, guys. It's just to be very clear. I don't really care. I'm going to swear right now. It's been a shit week between this and some other things in my life. And this has been this hit pretty hard. Jessie and I weren't like close friends or anything like that, but she was someone who I had been a colleague and worked with me before, and had interacted. And I think last time I saw her was at World Junior in Minnesota, just because that was kind of a time I was there, and she was always someone who was so proud of her kids. And I have no words right now, guys. I don't. And there's lots of people who are much better than I that are hurting even more so. And yeah, I have no words right now. And it's I gave my kids an extra tight hug tonight, put them to bed. Yeah. So.
Thank you, Sean. The NHL put out a statement today, obviously mourning the loss of Jessie Pierce. The entire National Hockey League family sends our prayers and deepest condolences to the Pierce family on the passing of Jessie Pierce and her 3 young children. Jessie loved our game and was a valued member of the NHL.com team for a decade. We will miss her terribly. We didn't have her on our show yet, but she was on my list. I was hoping that we could, we had Billy Guerin on for our Minnesota Other 31 this year, which was a great get, and it was such an appropriate thing before the Olympics this year. Jessie was somebody that I wanted because of the joy of life, her love of Taco Bell Luds. She always wanted those taco, whether it was before games or after games or whatever. Just for a Packers fan, she was a diehard Vikings fan. So yeah, it still would have been fun. She's 37 years old, gone way too soon. So we just wanted to spend a moment remembering Jessie Pierce. Our show is at 3:00, a special time tomorrow. We hope you'll join us for that. For Greg Ludwig, for Sam Nessler, Sean Shapiro, and our producer Ryan Voders. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Owen Newkirk. See you tomorrow.